What's up, guys? Welcome back to Big Yogi'Z Garage. Today I got Coach Kodyak Morris. What's up, Cody? How you doing, man?
Good, yourself?
Good, man. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you for saying yes.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, I met you a long time ago playing flag football. How long have you played flag football?
Since I was 17. I'm 33 now.
Yeah. Who was your first team?
The Warriors with you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I first checked them out. My uncle Ruben, which I believe you know as well too from Norplas.
Yeah.
He went out and played with Zach, which that's how we both know each other as well too.
Yeah.
And I just went and watched him, and I was still in high school at that time, and I just thought it was cool to watch, and went out and played one time, and then kind of fell in love with it as well too. So after I couldn't play anymore in high school, it was kind of like just something else to keep going and playing. And it kind of grew over the years. I mean, shit, we had like 55 teams out there at one point.
I know.
And at that time, I believe you were with the Renegades.
Yeah, I was with the Renegades, and I was with a bunch of teams: the Warriors, the Renegades. I don't know, Playmakers.
Yep. I played with the Playmakers. That's who I started playing. I started traveling with Brandon Gordon.
Yeah.
So I jumped on that team, got introduced to a few people to where the Tropics kind of got formed.
Yeah. You were part of that forming that, huh? You guys are good. You guys are fast, dude.
Bunch of white guys.
Yeah,
you know
bunch of fast ass white dudes, though.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
We had a nice little run, but just couldn't get over the top, in a lot of places because obviously we lacked some athleticism. But that's how I met Brian and Joe, which then we kind of formed the Goodfellas back up and had a nice little run with them. Kind of had a second place in nationals, I want to say we were like back-to-back state champs and stuff too. So it was fun. We probably went about 2 years with only losing like once or twice.
Damn.
So
you were like one of the first people that built the Homeboy, like part of that group in the beginning?
No, Goodfellas,
not Homeboys, Goodfellas, I mean.
Yeah, they originally started back when we split up Tropics, and we had a lace-up team that I started, and we used to play against Goodfellas, and that was when Joe had all his boys out there.
Yeah, I remember. They beat us I had Pit Bulls, and they beat us in the championship.
Yep. We all played against each other at one point over, I believe it was like mid-upper, mid-lower.
Dude, we were up 13-0, and Joe brought them back and beat us 14-13.
Yeah, it's always been super fun to chase after him. After I got an opportunity to play with him on Tropics, he actually only played defense with us when he came and played with us because, we had Sam at quarterback. Remember Sam Edens?
Yeah.
So we had him, and then we kind of just let him play DB, and I swear he probably had two interceptions every game. So people didn't like throwing on us either. So, we had a nice little built team. We had Ducky, Hathaway, Blankenship. We had Harple. A lot of different guys that used to play with us for a while that don't really play anymore, but back when you can say flag was great, but I enjoy it just as much now. It's more of a finesse game. 5 man's taking over, which we were always huge on 5-man. I want to feel like we were one of the first travel 5-man teams in Toledo as the Tropics. That was kind of more of our specialty just because we didn't have the crazy power or the crazy speed to actually stretch you downfield or anything like that, but we could nickel and dime you all the way down the field, which that's more of a 5-man style game.
Yeah, because you guys kind of knew, you guys weren't the fastest or nothing, but you guys kind of knew the techniques on how to play flag football. You guys did a bunch of like quick little bullshit, like catching people off guard type shit.
Yeah, it's
like pitching and stuff like that. Yeah,
pitches.
I remember that, bro. I remember that. I was like, God damn, these guys are good because you guys knew when to pitch, when to do this, when to do that.
Kind of played it more safe to where when we jumped on Goodfellas all together, more of an aggressive style playing. We're playing man in your face all the time. We're rushing, stacking the box all day on you, making you make a play on us, or you're going to make a mistake.
Forcing the mistakes and
Absolutely.
Stuff like that.
And with guys like Freak, and we had Los and Ducky on defense. Black. We had a bunch of just speed, athleticism, just people just wanted to come and hit you. You know what I mean? Guys that knew how to make plays in the right moments. So definitely fun.
Yeah. Do you still play flag football still to this day?
I still play. I can't commit to it as much because of work. especially with the storm that just happened, the hailstorm in Point Place, with me being a roof estimator.
Yeah, so that's what you do is estimate roofs and stuff?
Yes, that's my main job. And then I also train kids on the side at Redline. Try to ref when I can too. I got into that last year, which I really enjoyed that. I started doing that with the adults just because I've always wanted to try out reffing. I've always had a love for football. I want to feel like it saved me at one point in my life and just kind of pointed me in a better direction and just got me away from a lot of bullshit, you know what I mean? But other than that, majority of the time I'm working estimating right now, which, like I said, the storm in Point Place, I mean, it's keeping us so busy. I mean, just hail everywhere. People are getting full replacements. So with me having my insurance background, I used to literally work the opposite of what I'm doing now. I used to do the inspections for the insurance company. So I kind of got a sense of how they like to work things, how to speak to them in terms of like getting supplements for homeowners, which we've had homeowners get little to nothing back on their loss report, which that's the adjustment from the inspector that comes out and takes a look at the property, to where we'll get the report, I'll go redo an inspection for them, and with me being a hail certified inspector, a storm damage, I know what I'm looking for, I know how to explain it to the adjuster, to the insurance company, and we've had many times of them getting full replacements after absolutely getting nothing pretty much the first time. So it's definitely nice to know that background because it makes my job easier. I work for Freedom Roofing, Windows and Siding now. I used to do it independently, so I used to work for maybe 30 plus insurance companies. You know, they would just call me up and say, hey, could you go look at this roof at this property at this time, this date, you know what I mean? Pretty much, to where at that time I was probably doing like anywhere from like 4 to 6 properties a day, which that got pretty intense at one point. But I mean, it would die down in the winters to where I got to spend some more time with my family.
So basically just any insurance company could get a hold of you and say, hey, can you do an estimate over here for me? And then they would take your numbers and write a check or something like
at that time, estimate, no. I was more of like an inspector and got them like measurements, photos, just knowledge of the property so they could make their adjustments. Now that I'm on the homeowner side, now I do the estimates. So now that they are needing some work done, whether it's retail or whether it's insurance, I'm the one writing up the contracts, pretty much pricing the square footage of what needs to get done in terms of like material and things like that.
So how about your coaching the kids and stuff? Where do you do that?
Redline.
Are you at training kids, right?
Yep, Redline in Maumee. I'm there with Brian, which you've done an interview with him already. Brian Lee. Very high energy person, which we've also played flag football with as well. He's a beast. Part of that Goodfellas team.
Yes, sir.
And then
shout out to B. Lee.
And then Garrett I've known since high school. He went to Genoa and I went to Northwood. So it was just funny how those two ran into each other. And then me and Brian used to coach at weight together. So he was saying, you know, he had an opportunity over there, and then he told me to come check it out. And then just me walking into the building, and I was like, I know you, which, hey, how's it going? So he wanted us to he wanted Brian actually to get like a football academy going, which we started that, I want to say back in February, March-ish. And we train kids from like the age of 7, I mean, all the way up into college, honestly. There's a lot of kids that we coached at weight that are now moving on to the next level that we have coached over the year. Pretty intense workouts. I mean, you've seen them, you've come and checked them out. A lot of good equipment. Don't really think there's a gym like it in the area, honestly. So
it's like full turf, like everything you need.
Half court, basketball court.
All like the jumping bands, all that stuff.
The plyometrics that you need, any type of cone you need. I've used it as my playground as well. I mean, I was getting pretty heavy there at one point, and Garrett came to me to pretty much teach some classes there, and so I was doing all the morning classes over the summer. I did some in spring as well too, in the evenings. I've kind of taken a step back to where I'm not doing as much right now because of how busy I am with the roof estimating. But once that slows down, come fall into winter, I'll be right back, you know, probably doing it like 3 or 4 days a week.
All right. So, can you tell me a little bit about your coaching background? Like, you coached at Weight, you said?
Yeah. Again, me and Brian, being close friends, he had an opportunity at Weight, and he knew the love I had for the game. And I've always been a student of the game as well too. So when I say football kind of saved me, with me going to Northwood, Coach Ken James, who's, I want to say he's on his 42nd, 43rd year with the school. I mean, that's not even heard of anymore, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
But he is very detailed, huge on film. So me as a person who loves the game, I was down to watch film, you know what I mean? Seeing where my mistakes were, seeing where I could get better at. Because, I mean, I was a good athlete, but I wasn't like elite, top notch or anything like that. I ran track in high school. I played basketball, I played baseball. You know, I played almost every sport besides wrestling. So, I mean, I wasn't slow, but I wasn't super strong either. I had strong legs.
But you were quick though.
Oh yeah, that was probably the main thing I had for me was my quickness.
Yeah, you was quick and you could make your cuts real fast, and you seemed like you was always open.
Yeah, but I mean, with me understanding film and just, you know, you could always see plays developing before they even happened after, you know, studying so much and just understanding formations. And with me being a DB all my life, I loved concepts. I loved route concepts. And once you know how to put a certain coverage into it, I mean, it's like artwork, man. And so he gave me the opportunity to be the DB coach there at Weight. I loved it. Still love it. Probably will jump back into it sooner or later. It's just had an opportunity to make some money for the family.
Yeah, of course.
I got 3 kids now, so just I wanted to give some time back to my kids.
Of course.
I didn't grow up with my parents around as much. My mom always worked 2-3 jobs, you know, to help support us. So my grandparents took care of me. So me and my fiance, my future wife, Destiny, we think it's very important for us to be there for our kids and to raise them the way we want to, because we didn't have parents. She was adopted. She lived in foster care a lot in her life. So it's awesome that I found an opportunity to work to find work and have opportunities to be in my kid's life, because you can't say that about everybody, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes work just eats you up to where you might have a few hours at home and your kid's already sleeping, you know what I mean? Or you don't really want that time to have kids screaming in your face and you just kind of want to wind down. So I definitely understand that. So I try to do the best I can to be the best father I can, to help out with Destiny when I get home, you know, with fatherly duties, you know, whether it's giving the kids a bath. I got a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old, so you can only imagine how hectic that can be at night.
Hey Cody, so not everyone thinks like that. Like, you know, it's a lot of times, even when I was a young father, or even the young fathers right now, some of them are worried about partying and kicking it, and worried about their homies, and you know what I mean, and not worried about their family at home. Why is it? How come you are such a grown man, and how did you figure this out so young? I mean, I don't even know how old you are, but how old are you anyways?
33.
You're 33, so I'm 43. You're 10 years younger than me. So to me, I look at it as you're still young enough. Like, a lot of people haven't even learned what you've learned. What kind of trials and tribulations have you went through to actually become this man that you are today?
Well, first off, I mean, just living with my grandparents all my life. I mean, they're obviously old school. They come from Mexico, as I was explaining to you. So, I mean, they're definitely set in their old school ways. So I definitely learned from them.
So you were guided the right way?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Obviously, the other side of my family, which would be my dad's side of the family, wasn't the best. Probably into the wrong things growing up that I seen. So I grew up pretty much behind Central Catholic, which is like Locust, Delaware area, North End area. So not really the best neighborhoods.
LaGrange, all that.
Absolutely. It's Polish Village, I guess you can say at that point. So definitely seen a lot of things I shouldn't have seen. I would say watching my mom, you know, working 2 jobs as well, you know, seeing that hard work, seeing her always struggling to make ends meet, you know what I mean? And then honestly, just, you know, doing a lot of the wrong things is how I learned. Definitely made a lot of mistakes over my life. Was a big partier in high school, after high school. Honestly, if it wasn't for me losing my daughter, which was my 4th child.
And this is the last child you had?
No, this one was actually back in 2014.
I'm sorry to hear about that, man.
Yeah, it was a stillborn. She was 39 weeks. Definitely an experience that would change someone. Obviously, the girl I was with at the time still had to give birth. So knowing that you're going to give birth to a baby that, you know, you're not going to be able to take home. Obviously, it is definitely an experience, you know, again, nobody I would want to have to deal with that.
Of course.
But obviously something we had to go through. That shit messed me up for a long time, man. I mean, I definitely hit my downfall before I hit my rise. And as I was kind of just smoothing over that tragic thing, about 2 years later, my younger brother passed away. So he was 19. Unfortunately.
Damn, that was 19. That was surprising. You don't expect that to happen at all.
No, I mean, that's a lot of reason why I don't drink I wouldn't say I don't drink anymore. I don't drink like I used to. I really don't like to be drunk. I might have a drink randomly for an occasion or something like that. But I mean, that night I was at a wedding and had a hotel I was already staying at, but I remembered I told my brother, hey, I might get a hold of you if I decide to come home. I was currently just bouncing around at that time. I didn't really have a place I was living at. I would say I was at my lowest point at that time in my life. Just in terms of like, I didn't really care what the hell happened, you know what I mean? Just kind of went with the flow.
Was you drinking a lot or taking pills and shit like that?
I did get.
I used to be hooked on pills around them times, so I know.
I got hooked on. I wouldn't say hooked. I'd say I had a little bit of an addiction because I sold some at some point.
So you just like popping them for like just have fun and get a little buzz?
Yeah, it was more of a party thing to me, honestly.
That's how I kind of was.
And then it became like a work thing for me. Like, hey man, just to get me through the day, you know what I mean? And it wouldn't be a lot. Like it would be Percocets, obviously, and I got into them from an injury from sports.
Me too.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
dude, the same thing, bro. I tore my ACL.
Dude, same. My right side, and you know, at that time I had insurance through FedEx, so I mean, I had a prescription for about, I would say, 3 to 6 months, and at that time I was just popping them. And then someone that I knew kind of introduced the whole breaking them down and snorting them. And I was like, you know, I didn't know shit about that. And, you know, I kind of jumped into that world a little bit. And yes, I was big into partying, drinking. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I blacked out. But again, you know, with the whole night of my brother, I mean, I was at a wedding. You know, I had a place to stay already. But something told me, hey, go home. You know what I mean? I was blacked out drunk. I drove from Levis Commons all the way to Northwood, the Wales exit. So that's a good, 6-7 miles? Don't remember that drive whatsoever, man. And then, you know, I walk in and I just remember that was the time that I kind of just get some memory back. Was I had to go to the bathroom and he was there in the kitchen, you know. I found him, you know.
Oh, you found him?
Yeah, I found him.
That night?
That night.
Holy shit, drunk as hell. You was drunk as hell.
you could probably go back and maybe even find the audio tape, you know, when I called 911. So I believe I did find it at one point. It was
Damn. I'm sorry to hear about
some pretty sad shit, honestly, man.
Fuck yeah.
Because at that point, I had no memory really of it. It's crazy the thoughts that I take from that scenario. You know, I just remember I wasn't happy, but I was relieved that my mom didn't find him because she was just sleeping in the bedroom. You know what I mean, around the corner. Yeah, crazy fucking crazy scenario, man.
That kind of shit. Was he a younger brother? Your younger brother?
Yeah, he was only 19. Like, this was in 2016. That's crazy. Yeah, 16. So it's been 7 years. Yeah. Just was his anniversary.
So so that kind of stuff. Did you feel like how did you feel after that? Did you feel like it was your fault? Did you feel like you were guiding him wrong? Like what was the feelings where you was getting? Because I've had someone close to me pass away, and I have crazy feelings.
At that time, man, I was my mental was so backwards. I mean, okay, so when I found him, obviously, you know, what's going on? How did this happen? I'm looking around, you know, I'm not seeing anything. So my thought process is, well, who was here with him?
Someone killed him?
I don't know. He died of a coke and fentanyl.
No, what I'm saying that's what you were thinking, maybe like at that moment or something.
Or someone was there, and you know, maybe he had a reaction, and they freaked out and they ran off. You know, because where was the money? Where was the rest of it? You know what I mean? So, and me knowing my brother, I knew how much money he had on him on a regular. So me to find no money on him whatsoever. Was very, very suspicious and kind of threw me for a crazy leap for about 2 or 3 months. I mean, I was very, very questionable about everybody. I mean, even my close friends, I mean, I would disappear for days, you know, a week at a time, just not talking to anybody because I felt like I couldn't trust no one, you know. It took me a while to kind of get out of that funk. And then to top it off, once I finally decided to go out again, which was New Year's of that year, I got a DUI. And me, who again doesn't really drink, I feel like that was karma coming back to me because I didn't get it that night with my brother. You know, I'm not big into religion, but I definitely feel like there's energies out there. And for sure. Again, something told me to go home that night. I had a place to stay, man. You know what I mean? At a hotel, at a wedding. You know, who knows what could have happened to me at that night, you know? But I decided to go.
Yeah, something protected you, make sure you got there all the way.
But, you know, forces, you know, in the world said, hey, we're going to get you back one day. And they sure enough did. And I met the girl that I'm with now that night. I started talking to her.
What night? The
night that I got a DUI.
Oh, okay.
So
I was gonna say that. I thought you meant the other. Okay.
So it was funny how that worked out. You know,
the night you got a DUI, you met her before the DUI?
Yep.
Okay.
So we started talking, and she probably met me at my worst downfall. You know what I mean, in my life. So the fact that we've grown together over all this time. About 7 years now, and you know, we have a family now and a house out in Perrysburg. So life has definitely changed for me, but it's taken all those downfalls, all those, you know, tragic events to make me who I am. And I think because of that, that's why I'm such a good father, or I at least try to strive to be. Because I kind of see what the value of life is, man, and you know, you don't know how much time you got left with people. You really don't. My brother was probably my best friend. You know, we did everything together, and shit. It sucks because there's times I feel like I don't even remember the sound of his voice. You know, it's crazy to get to that point. It really is.
It sucks to get to that point. So tell me a little bit about like overcoming adversity. Like the stuff you just told me is like some really strong stuff. Like how does someone like this, going through something like that, like a loss of a child or a loss of a very close brother? How does someone like start overcoming? Because I'm sure, you know, there's a lot of people going through the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So when the loss of my daughter happened, I went to a dark place, you know, with some pills, obviously, you know, and the girl I was with, you know, she was more wanting to deal with grieving by being around people, you know what I mean, to where I just wanted to go hide, you know what I mean. I kind of felt ashamed. So I would say in that regard, I mean, if you ever feel that way, I mean, you got to work through doing the opposite, you know. I mean, maybe you should be around people if you feel like you should be alone, because I mean, I'm not a fan of guns, so I was never in that scenario to where I had to deal with anything like that. But a lot of people are. I mean, the access to guns nowadays, very, very easy. So I mean, but did I think about, you know, potentially ending things? Absolutely. I mean, it's just, you know, depression's a real thing nowadays, man. And, you know, if you don't self-evaluate, I would say, not on a regular basis, but I would say from time to time, man. I mean, you could definitely see yourself going down a wrong path or in a hole that you can't dig yourself out of, or it's going to take some time. And it took me some time. I mean, I would say I'm not necessarily 100% back to normal either, but I mean, it's because of my kids and the responsibilities that I have that, you know, I don't like to lose, man. I'm big, I'm winning. And I feel like, you know, if I'm not doing what I need to do, I'm losing. And that's always been the competitor in me, you know. That's probably why I can't give up flag football, honestly, is I don't like to lose, bro. You know, I will rather take the lessons and just keep going at it until I figure it out than to pack up on a loss. You get what I'm saying? Which I'm sure you feel the same way, man. I mean, I definitely admired your rise over, you know, the years of watching you come up. So, I mean, you met me as a 17-year-old boy. So
I know. And I followed you on social media ever since. Like we've been friends on social media for like last 25 years. So I've seen your struggles, and I've seen you not everything, but I've seen when, you know,
we've caught glimpses. Absolutely.
You write something like something happened to your family, or, you know what I mean, I've caught that, but I've seen your rise, and I've seen who you are throughout the years. And ever since I've ever known you, you've always been a solid ass dude. You've always been a hard worker. I don't know exactly what you do for a living, but I can see you on the football field, bro. And on the football field, that tells you a lot who someone is.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot about life on that football field. And regular football and in flag football. That shit makes you grow up and become a man, bro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, again, you know, football for me saved my life. Going back to the Northwood days, I mean, growing up in Toledo, obviously, we see shit we're not supposed to see at a young age, you know what I mean? To where, you know, out in suburban life, you know, they don't see shit, you know, and they're very sheltered and live different lives. And when I moved out there, I mean, it was a very tight-knit community. I can't tell you how many moms, you know, fed me from night to night, you know, made sure I got rides home because my mom was working 2 jobs. But, you know, it showed me a different way of life out there. And, you know, I want that life for my kids, you know what I mean? You know, I want the community to look out for my kid in a scenario of something bad's going on, to where if I can't, you know, or not around, hey, let me look out, let me make sure Malia or Miley gets home from soccer practice. You get what I'm saying? Or anything like that. To where, you know, shit, if we were living in Toledo and our parents are still God knows where, I mean, we're taking that hike home more than likely. So, you know, in the dark, you know, potentially in the rain. I can't tell you how many times my mom was late picking me up and I was like, man, screw it, I'm walking home. Me too. So she'd be driving down the street, hey, get in the car. So,
so you grew up in the North End, and then after a while, where did you move to? Like you said, the nice.
So I grew up off Delaware and Locust. Okay. I grew up there till about, I'd say 5th grade. And 5th grade, you know where the Larchmont apartments were? Or Riviera Maya. They were condemned over there at one point off like Lewis and Lasky.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know,
oh, yeah.
So I lived
like where all those streets are over there.
Yep. I lived over there for about 3 years. I went to DeVoe at that time. And then got in some trouble there, man. And then my mom worked out in Northwood, so she was just trying to get me away from some stuff. I mean, that's when I really started dipping and dabbling into, you know, marijuana or, you know, just being stupid as a young kid, started drinking and stuff. So she just wanted to get me away from that. Little did she know, Northwood, I mean, all they do as high schoolers is drink. So, I mean, that became a big thing for me in high school. And honestly, by the time I got to 21, I mean, drinking wasn't really a thing to me anymore. It got old, you know. I mean, just so much drinking all the time. I mean, you get to the point to where it's just headaches after headaches after headaches.
What do you feel like when we drink, like, to get really drunk, or do you feel like we're just trying to hide like something going on, or like emotions, or because
absolutely
there has to be something else, right?
Do I think it's that case every time? No,
of course,
but yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a lot of times why people self-medicate, whether it's drinking, pills, marijuana, you know. I mean, some people working out, I mean, that's a drug to somebody, you know what I mean? Once you feel that rush and that adrenaline pumping and your muscles start to get sore, you kind of get used to that and you like that feeling, you know what I mean? And you kind of need that rush all the time. And I mean, I enjoy working out too. And my body doesn't quite recover the way it used to anymore, but I mean, working out with the kids has definitely whipped my butt back into shape. I'm doing things that I haven't done in years, you know, jumping higher than I have in a long time. So it's definitely been nice to get back in shape, working out with the kids at Redline. Got some crazy athletes we've come across.
I've seen them on
There's a kid out in Maumee, Cody Wolf. I mean, that might be a D1 athlete right there, but he plays at Maumee, man. So hopefully they keep doing well. I know they had a good week 1. I can't remember what they did in week 2. It's crazy to think that we're already, week 3 into the high school football season?
Week 3, yep.
So
that's nuts. It's going to go like this. It's going to be over with.
NFL starts this week, so who's your team?
My favorite NFL team is the Steelers.
The Steelers? Yeah, I think I knew that. You're always wearing Steelers stuff, so...
Yeah, your favorite team is
the Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
Obviously, I ain't got much to brag about yet.
Yeah, but you guys are pretty good. I mean, you guys haven't did much, but last year you guys had a solid little team. And in the beginning of the season, you guys were hot, and then something happened to Tua, and then you guys got
something. Man, I get nervous every time that guy drops back. I'm not gonna lie, just holding my breath.
He keeps getting all those concussions and stuff.
I mean.
Or whatever, I don't even know.
He's a fragile guy, we'll just say that. I mean, he's put on some weight this year, so hopefully he's looking more like Russell Wilson now.
Oh, is he?
He almost like split image of him, I swear. All he needs is like the Jufro that he has now.
It's crazy.
But
hey, I was gonna ask you about, since we were talking about emotions and stuff, and how important is it to make sure you don't bottle up all your emotions and let it like build up and build up and build up?
I mean that's huge to me. I will admit, I did go through some therapy sessions shortly after I lost my daughter. So I mean that experience alone, it was only 6 sessions, but I mean those 6 sessions, I mean just taught me how to open up, how to just speak about things, because at that point, I talked about it to people, but it just, no one really understood, which people still don't understand unless you go through that experience. But I mean, speaking about what's going on in life, I mean, I'm not going to say you have to open up about every single thing in the world, but I mean, there are points to where if you're feeling like you're in your breaking point, I mean, whether it's someone who's close to you or hey, go to the gym or something, you know, there's someone there that might be going through the same shit you're going through, you know what I mean?
Or like you said, a therapist, you can do online therapy.
I can't tell you how many little conversations that I've had with just random people and just, hey man, everybody's going through shit, you know what I mean? Life's tough, you know what I mean? Especially if I'm a big person on preparation. I was never always that way. I always learn the hard way, unfortunately. But because of that, I try to prep, man. I try to prep for any scenario nowadays, especially with kids. I mean, unfortunately, you got to think for the worst, because if not, it's going to kick you in the ass. But I mean, speaking to people is huge. I'm huge on that. I have a 10-year-old daughter who might be going through puberty soon. So you can only imagine the emotions that are coming at us. So I'm huge on her. Just, hey man, just tell me how you feel. You know what I mean? You screaming at me and crying, that's not getting any information across. You know what I mean? You going up in your room and being upset, that's not helping us help you. So I try to be that way with her. So I definitely try to eat my words and do the same. My fiance might not think so all the time, but I definitely get, you know, things being bottled up, and then, you know, if you're in the wrong place, wrong time, you know, snapping on people, you know what I mean? And not everybody knows what you're going through. So, I mean, if you're taking it out on people, you know, that have no clue what's going on, you're going to get wrong reactions. So definitely open up to people that, you know, you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, that's.
How about yourself? I mean,
I believe that's why I'm doing this. I feel like, you know, like just having a guest every week and opening up myself, or or getting a good story, or getting a good conversation between two people, it's like therapy to me, because I feel like that we need so much, that we need to like speak, and it makes me feel good to be able to get off my chest some things, or maybe even listen to someone get something off their chest, and maybe just help them or guide them, or, you know, I feel like I'm like a coach for like growing. I always wanted to be a coach, bro. I wanted to be a coach for like high school or something, but
for sports.
But then I was always doing stupid shit. I got in trouble and stuff. So I have a felony. I have a felony or whatever. And
shockingly, I don't. I've been very lucky. I mean, I've been involved in stuff that I should not have been a part of.
Yeah, you never got caught.
I never got booked, we'll put it that way. So I've been lucky in a lot of situations, other than the DUI. So we'll just say I ran a lot of times too, and I was a lot faster than a lot of other people.
So now, like, I want to be like, I'm not saying I want to coach everybody, but I want to be like, you know, a coach. I want to be help guide people, but by me putting in the action. Not telling everybody what to do. And maybe I'm not the perfect workout guy or nothing. I don't need nobody to follow my workouts, but I just want people to see me and say, hey, look, he was 300 pounds 2 years ago, and now he's working out every day. He's looking good. He's getting healthier. He's talking to people. He's getting, like, I'm expanding the network. I'm trying to create something.
Are you big on your diet?
I do intermittent fasting.
Dude, I picked up on fasting. So I kind of already, after finding out, you know, like the details on everything, I was like, man, I kind of fast already. I do it with the wrong shit, you know what I mean? So I really do, man. I'll have spurts of where I'll eat good, you know, I'll fast for a good maybe 2 weeks, and I just can't get to that 21 days, you know what I mean? So where I make it a habit, and it's a pain in my butt. Something always happens, you know what I mean? But I really do. I tried juicing at one point, to where you were just drinking the juices. Man, tore my stomach apart. I already have stomach issues as it is, and we'll just say it wasn't pretty at times.
I do intermittent fasting. I do 16/8, so I do 8 hours eating window and 16 hours non-eating window. I've been doing it for like 15 months. Every day. I never eat breakfast, and I usually eat around anytime after noon to 8 p.m. That's my eating window. And then from 8 p.m. all the way to the next day at noon, I have non-eating 16 hours. And that's how I lost all this. And then I basically, but I'm not very strict when it comes to eating. I try to eat healthy, but like, let's say we have pizza, we have pizza. If I have to have some drinks, before I came here. Yeah, if I have to have some drinks, and because the thing is, I have an on and off switch, so I don't go crazy so I can kind of cheat a little bit. And plus, I'm not in a hurry to get nowhere fast.
Your body's used to having a huge diet, you know what I mean? So the fact that you're so strict you get cheat days.
Dude, I used to eat like crazy. I used to be like, breakfast, lunch.
But you also want to keep that burly look too, man. So you got to feed the beast,
Oh yeah, because I still want to kind of be big, but I'm growing muscles and stuff because I'm still doing weight training and all that stuff, So I wanted to ask you. I have a couple more questions to ask you. How important are good friends and like a good support system, especially going through like a bunch of the stuff that you went through? I know you said that you try to isolate yourself, for a while, but like when you did like finally break out and talk to your friends and stuff, how important are them?
Huge. I mean, honestly, because of that reason, I had a few friends who kind of just always bugged me, who kind of just made sure that things were okay.
Yeah. Even when you didn't want them to bug you, they were still there. That's good. That's good friends.
After I left the hospital with from my brother, we took him to, it's crazy, it was St. V's Hospital, the hospital I grew up staring at. So just coming back full circle to that moment, I wanted to get away. So the girl I was with at that time, I ran off to her house and turned off my phone and just kind of just separated myself from the world. And then, it had gotten out at that point. So, you know how Facebook is, Once one person finds out, that's all it takes. So I had a group of friends that were trying to find me, and they were calling all around, and they found out where I was, and they went and came and found me, and didn't leave me for a good week or two. But again, found opportunity and I ran off. And after his funeral, I just didn't want to be around anybody. But again, they made sure that they were always there. Even my friend that moved away, Seth, they call him Ducky. He moved away to Colorado, which he was probably one of the main ones who just always made sure a point to give me a call, see how I was doing, making sure I come out and visit him in Colorado. That was, again, that was huge for me too, was just traveling, getting away and getting out of what scenario I was going through at that time. Unfortunately, you can call it running away or not, but I needed to put my mind in a different place. Went hiking in the mountains for about a week or so and just realized I ain't shit, man. I need to get rid of my ego. I need to fix life, and came back with a different mindset. And, ever since then, just been trying to evolve, and it's friends like that that push you to evolve too, you know what I mean? Not to keep sitting in that same place, moping about the same stuff. And I definitely try to put more into my brain than I had once before. I'm big on documentaries. I'm big on podcasts, learning stuff.
Me too.
I would say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm definitely into those as well too. I don't think our government's shit, you know what I mean? I definitely think there's a lot of shady stuff going on in this world. And don't get me wrong, there's probably some good out there too, but way more shady than good. But I'm big on friends. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of the same friends, over the years, because not everybody's meant to be in your life forever. And I've learned that the good way, I've learned that the bad way. So the ones that are close to me, have been around for a long time, and I still stay in touch with everybody as much as I can. But honestly, my family is my main priority, and I can't tell you how big I am on that. Just again, you don't know how much time you got here on this earth.
Of course.
And I want that time to be spent with my kids as much as possible. And unfortunately, work already takes up so much time, so the time that I have left, I used to give to myself, but I've learned over my time, and you can't do that. You know what I mean? If you want that precious time with them, you got to give up your personal time. Yeah.
It's hard, man. Hey, do you get like, okay, so when your friends or family talk to you, are you like a hard person? Are you like an emotional person? Or can you like open up and like talk to them and stuff like that? Or are you like really strict? Like, are you strict to yourself? Like,
No, I mean, I'm a very easygoing person.
I'll do a podcast, and if something sad comes up, I'll cry and I'll do that. Like, are you that kind of person? Are you emotional?
Honestly, I feel like I used to be, but I feel like those scenarios I've been through have kind of just pushed a lot of my emotion out. And I wouldn't say I'm numb to stuff. I mean, not even those things. I mean, just during that time period, I mean, there was an epidemic going on out here, and with me caught up in that scene, you know what I mean? I can't tell you how many funerals I went to of just people our same age, man. You know, I can't tell you how many friends I've buried, and just making it out of that right there. I mean,
it's almost like you're numb to it after you see so many of your friends die. Really.
I mean, you're not wrong, dude. You're really not. And I mean, I could very well have been one of them people, you know. And again, that's another reason why I take my time with my family so serious. I mean, my mom doesn't have anybody but me left. My grandmother, my grandfather that raised me, I mean, he died last year, so I pretty much help out with her too. You know, my mom's with her every day. So there's a lot of responsibility on my plate to where, I mean, I done got no time to mope, you know. And even if I want to, like, I still try to find some time to just get away. I need silence. That's huge for me. Meditation's huge, man. Just let my mind just be alone, you know what I mean, and just silence, which I don't get very much, but I try to give myself those moments, whether it's in the truck at work, you know what I mean, somewhere, or in my basement, you know, before everybody wakes up, you know, just to kind of get my thought process going for the day. But
I have that too, man. Sometimes I pull up to the house and I sit 20 minutes in the car before I even get out. Because I got to get like mentally prepared for everything. It's crazy.
You're not wrong, man.
Yeah.
With my 2-year-old and my 7-month-old, I mean, it's rampage all the time at the house right now. We got teething and we got the terrible twos. So.
Yeah. Hey, so throughout your journey, right, all these things have come and gone and stuff. Like, how has all that stuff shaped you? Like how have you became this man? Like, has that stuff like made you more like scared or more like brave or more like what kind of like what does all that do? What does all them traumas and shit happen?
I wouldn't say scared. More prepared, because I feel like
you did say you're more prepared now.
In my younger years, I was the life of the party, you know what I mean? I lived life as it came. You know, I was never big on planning stuff. But now, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's changed me in that way to where I'm always trying to make sure we don't get behind on something or it's something bad. If it happens, I make sure I got easy cleanup for it, you know what I mean? And I think just having kids alone just kind of makes you that way because so many accidents happen. But as well, you know, as life experiences too, I mean, you don't want bad scenarios to come about. And if it does, you want it to be as minimum as possible. I mean, and I feel like you feel that way in a lot of ways of life. As a parent, as a coach, I mean, in sports, I mean, in your day-to-day life, just trying to get through your day. I mean, some people, like you say, they struggle, you know, with God knows what, you know, whether it's depression, anxiety, you know, someone passing, drugs. I mean, just like you said, so as I went through addiction, I mean, if those people don't want that help, they're not going to take that help. And unfortunately, people that tried to help me in the past learned that the wrong way. And, you know, it took me to have life kick me down in the dirt so many times to kind of just snap out of it, you know what I mean? So it didn't happen overnight for me either. So, I mean,
it takes something like almost like to hit rock bottom to actually wake up from all that shit.
Absolutely.
What was your rock bottom? Like, what was the most rock bottom that the day that you said, fuck this, I'm done with this shit?
I mean, I want to say it was the DUI night.
So not even like your brother, all that, like.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I want to say that, but I mean, it was before that. I mean, it was at my, honestly, when we put my brother to be cremated, I mean, I was like, well, how did I get here? You know what I mean? And that's when I kind of went through a lot of self-evaluation and just kind of, you know, I don't take the blame for it, but for me to say that I had no part in guiding him or leading him down that road to however it was he was living or whatever, that would be wrong of me, you know what I mean, and irresponsible for me.
You got to man up. And
absolutely.
If you feel like you were guiding him wrong, then that's good, because that shows you that you know you got to take what it is, man.
And you know, that's why I used to hate when I would say that to people, and this is why I kind of just stopped talking to people.
People would say, "No, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it."
No, that, you know, you're wrong in that. You know what I mean? Because if I play back a lot of scenarios with my brother, I always had him in a situation he shouldn't have been in. He should never even been there. He was the type of person that always was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, a lot of them times was with me.
Yeah.
And you know, to where I might have got a slap on the wrist, he got in big trouble. And again, you know, I was never big on the coke scene or anything like that, but you know, I would randomly, again, it's a party thing. I would dabble in that, and you know, he got into it, and you know, I'd let him know. That's not something to probably be messing with, you know what I mean, blah, blah, blah. But of course, one drunken night, I did it with him, you know what I mean? And so just like I'm saying, I could very well be, you know, 6 feet under as well with him.
Yeah. So he got poisoned?
Yeah.
Because that shit's not, like, what? He overdosed. The people don't overdose over cocaine.
No, yeah, definitely it had fentanyl.
It had fentanyl. So like right now, like there's so many people getting like poisoned because they're putting them in the pills, they're putting it in the weed, they're putting it in the coke, they're putting it in like, people might think they're just gonna have one good night at a party or whatever, and they end up killing themselves. Because like there's so much going on. Like there's all these like different like people putting all this weird shit into the drugs.
We heard about like pill presses and stuff, like people breaking them down and putting the fentanyl and you know, repressing them. And when we heard about it at that time, you know, that ain't real, you know, blah blah blah. And then, you know, people started dropping, and it's like, holy shit, you know.
Yeah, it's not.
It opened my eyes at least, but you know, for a lot of other people, you know, they were too far down that line to where, I mean, yeah, they're seeing this stuff, but there's not much they can do about it at the moment. And even if they wanted to, like, I mean, it might be too late, you know? So, it was definitely a crazy time period. I mean, it's still going on nowadays. It's crazy, the pharmaceuticals that are killing people, you know what I mean? Crazy, it really is.
It's like they took over all the corner stores, they took over all the drug dealers, they took over everything, and they're the ones selling drugs. Go to Kroger's, go look at the pharmacy line. It's out the damn door, bro.
You ever watch any of these shows or whatever? That's
documentaries and stuff?
Yeah, like on like the Oxycontin and all that
bro,
stuff.
They got everybody hooked on pills, then everybody started doing heroin, and then they took people off of heroin, they put on Suboxys and methadone, and now they are the drug dealers. They got all these like centers, these ZEF centers all over the whole entire United States, and they are the real drug dealers of the United States.
I'm right there with you.
They're taking over, bro. They did this on purpose just to keep making money. I'm sorry to say it, but like I've watched all these documentaries, and I'm learning it, and I watch all these like different podcasters talking about this.
I mean, it's population control. I mean, you can say it's not genocide, but it is. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a Holocaust right in front of us.
Dude, I know people that are hooked on methadone for 17 years, and they're not. The doctors are not trying to take them. Hooked on what's that? There's one called methadone, and what's the other one? I forgot. I just said the name, but it's just like methadone. It's like
Suboxone?
Yeah, Suboxone. So they take you off the heroin, but they put you on this, and you gotta take that shit every day.
And you feel like shit when you don't.
Yeah, and you take.
So it's like, man,
they take you off one thing, and they put you on another.
And it's crazy, man. It really is. And well, I mean, you can look all the way back to like the Pablo Escobar days. You know, when the CIA was, you know, helping run guns and cocaine, you know, to fund that, you know, money. We were getting hooked on cocaine and then crack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they were bringing all that shit in here to fund them wars. and they were selling it to the people in the streets.
Yeah.
The Rick Ross story, Snowfall.
Yeah,
It's actually it's actually a real thing. The dude went to jail and everything.
You ever watch the Narco show?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm big on Narco. I swear to God, I probably watched the whole thing, Mexico and Colombia, probably like 5 or 6 times. I'm not
Dude,
gonna lie.
I didn't watch all Narcos or nothing, but I have watched a little bit of that. But I watched Snowfall. I watched all those shows because those things, especially when I was locked up, when I was in jail, that's like the only things on TV was like shows like that.
Do you talk about that a lot?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Being in jail? How long were you in?
I was in prison for like 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, and then
I
when
remember
I got
you were
out,
gone. I didn't remember the exact time, how long you were gone. I just remember you kind of disappeared.
I went to jail. I went to prison like 2014, 15, and then I got out in 2019.
Quite some time. Quite some technology shift during that time.
Yeah.
You came out like touch screens.
Yeah, when I went in, there was like, you know, I could hear about people getting Ubers and like,
what the fuck is that?
And then like I seen the apps.
You mean a cab?
Yeah, but like there were still phones and apps and all that. But when I got out, it was like there was Ubers everywhere. There was like all these like Uber Eats, like that stuff didn't exist.
The attention was right here.
Yeah, it was like way more. So then I was like, man, I need to do something. I want to do something. So when I started my cleaning business, and then eventually I kept listening to podcasts. I was like, I want to start a podcast.
Came out with a plan, man. I've always, always thought that was awesome, Yeah,
because
the fact that some people come out and they don't know what to do.
But I'm like the same thing when you were like when you were saying earlier like when you were a partier, it seemed like you didn't care about life. You wasn't responsible, right? Mm-hmm. I was the same way, bro. Before I went to prison, I wasn't responsible for shit. My mom used to tell me, do this, do that. I said, oh yeah, I'll do it. And she used to tell me, become an American citizen. Do that. Yeah, one day. I never became responsible until I learned. I went to prison and I watched a whole bunch of grown men and a whole bunch of grown ass men, how they move, how they work together, how do they get things done. They want a new TV, they all go, something happens, they stop eating. All of them, 1,500 inmates won't eat until they get that TV.
Really?
And they're solid, bro, and they show you like, you can watch how grown men take showers, how they clean themselves, you know what I mean? How they make sure they brush their teeth, make sure they're clean their bathrooms. And you see this and you start forming, you're like, holy shit, I never knew all this. Like when you're in a place where a group of men, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a little bullshit, fights and all that.
We live in a society where we're being raised by women, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was never raised by no man. I never was taught nothing.
Well, I'm not gonna say, my dad,
I had men around me, but nobody was guiding me like every day, like you got to do this and you got to do that.
My dad always lived in another state. So, we had a relationship, but honestly, it was, summers, weeks here. So it wasn't like a year-round relationship, you know what I mean? And it's no disrespect against my dad. He's from Toledo. He came from a very bad background. His dad, the Avengers in Toledo, the bike gang, well, biker club. A lot of my family pretty much got that up and running and has been a part of that for a long time, the white side of my family. So he was a part of that growing up. And, he didn't want to be around this life up here in Toledo. So, he fled to the Army. And when he came back, he never really came back to Toledo. He lived in Tennessee and then he lived in Florida. So I've always had different times away with him, but I never really had that dad figure in my life. And the dad figure I did have was my grandfather. And I still to this day can't tell you if I haven't come across another nicer man than him. Just very well respected. Didn't try to say anything bad about anybody, just lived his life for him and his family. And I think that's where I get that sense from, of just wanting to take care of my family and just making sure they're okay. Is from him, because he was never one to bail on his family. He would give up the last spot to sit, you know what I mean? He'd give up his last piece of food for, the kids to eat, whatever. He was that type of guy.
That's awesome.
But again, not knocking anything with my dad, because if he didn't make his life better, there's so many people in his family that either passed away at a young age, that are in prison, that just aren't doing well for themselves. And he's seen the writing on the wall. And when I was younger, I used to be upset about it, but I got no blame, no blame whatsoever. I mean, I turned out to the man that I feel like I was meant to become. You know, we have not the best relationship, but we definitely have a relationship nowadays to where we keep things civil, you know what I mean? He wants to be a grandfather to his grandkids, which I get, cool. You know what I mean? You know, he missed that opportunity with me in a lot of ways. So whatever time he can spend with his grandkids, I'm all for it.
That's awesome.
He lives in North Carolina now, so he's always lived in a good vacation area. So, I mean, it's nice to go get away, you know, to those spots. He lives up in the mountains in North Carolina.
Just go visit him, take the grandkids.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So, I mean, he's got a nice little piece of land out there. We just were out there for, I want to say spring break-ish or so. But man, it's beautiful out there, just on the border of Tennessee, like Pigeon Forge area.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. I've been there.
So,
yeah, that's really nice over there.
So real,
like by Gatlinburg,
yep,
and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so where he lives on the mountain, if you look one way, it's Tennessee. You're in North Carolina. If you look the other way, it's Georgia. So it's like the tri-state area.
Yeah,
it's pretty
that's
cool.
Pretty nice. That's pretty.
He lives up there with a bunch of 3 percenters, a bunch of the old ex-army vets, and you know what I mean, ready for the world to end.
So you didn't have like that guidance like every single day, like. You had a father figure, just like me. Like I had a father, but my father was in prison. I had stepdads, but I always wanted like, I always looked for like, so when I went to prison, I seen how grown men were acting, and then when I got out, I became like a leader in the prison system. Like they moved me up in the ranks and stuff like that. So it wasn't like gang; it was more like speaking for people, going to talk to people.
Did you come across any like gang shit? You know
yeah, I mean, it was not
as bad as most that they try to like make it out to be.
Yeah, our prison was more like you take care of your people. So like I was Cuban, I hung around with the Cubans. If you were Mexican, hung around with the Mexicans. If you were white, you were hung around with the whites. But it wasn't whites because it was all immigrants. So the whites were Canadian, Irish, you know what I mean? People from Europe. Because there was no United States citizens there.
Really?
I was in a prison with all immigrants. I was born in Cuba, so then they sent me there. And then,
shut up! I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. So I had to go there, and then I became like a leader into the prison. And then when I got out, I was like, you know what? I started my cleaning business, but I always wanted to do something online.
So when did you come here?
Something online. I've been here since to United States.
Yeah.
When I was baby, 6 months old.
Okay.
My whole life I've lived in the United States. But then they want to kick me out. Come on, man. I don't understand.
That's crazy, bro. I didn't know that.
They tried to kick me out. They tried to send me to Cuba twice.
Man.
And I had to like fight it and stuff. And then I was like, man, fuck this.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. You ever want to go back?
I mean, I want to go back to visit, but I guess I can't.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
I can't go because I now lost my papers and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. So who's the leader over there right now?
I think his name is like Dave. I don't know.
It's not Castro anymore. He died.
It's still their government, but it's just different now. Hey, so I know that you coach kids. You're not coaching, but like training kids and stuff like that. So can you tell me a little bit? Or I've got a question right here. It says, how do you aim to make a positive impact on kids to prevent them from going down the same road that a lot of the stuff that we went down, like the stuff you were saying earlier, like how about me about the prison thing and all that?
I mean, honestly, nowadays it is hard. I mean, the kids nowadays, their attention can be taken so quick, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, we get athletes that come out to Redline that, you know, want to get better, that are there, but I mean, a lot of the times, yeah, they want to get better for about 10, 15 minutes. And then, you know what I mean? Hey, man, I'm not trying to do this, which I get, you know what I mean? Who wants to work out as a teenager?
There you're basically training them for just sports and their exercise, right? Not like mentality and stuff like that.
Yes and no. I mean, definitely have come across kids, you know, that you can tell just haven't met their personality yet. They're just shy, quiet, not really athletic, but you know, their parents are wanting to put them in something to kind of open them up, you know. So whatever it is, athletic wise, or maybe even just cardio wise, you know, which we do a lot of different classes there. We got a football coach. I'm more of like a conditioning, you know, running coach. I try to just burn them out as much as possible, whether that's on the sleds, whether that's with ropes, running, whatever. We got
get their cardio up.
Yeah, just being able to go, you know what I mean? And then we got a strength coach, Garrett. He's more of like a baseball. He does pitching, and he also does, you know, hitting as well too. We got a basketball coach. Did I say that already?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
We got a basketball coach too. Cheerleading as well too. I believe your daughter came to a class. That's how you were able to see how cool a facility it is.
Yeah, she went to a class.
Believe they're trying to get a soccer guy in there as well too, which my daughter's in a traveling soccer team. We've brought her team there before. There's another team, I believe, from Oregon that comes there and trains as well. I think we're trying to introduce lacrosse.
Okay.
We're trying to get it big enough so where we can buy next door and then make that all turf. So we can have a huge facility.
Okay, so you guys want to have like one specialty coach almost in every kind of sport, right?
Pretty much, yes. To where, I mean, we can kind of be a one-stop shop, you know what I mean? And not only just be sports, but yeah, kind of mentors as well too. Because like I said, I mean, we come across kids that want to get better, you know, athletically, kids that are just being introduced into, you know, just fitness, period. So a lot of younger kids, 7, 8-year-olds, you know, 9-year-olds who haven't really found their sport yet or even understand what their body can do in terms of running, jumping, you know. So we kind of start them off with testing to show them where they're at. And then usually it's about we do 6 to 12 week, you know, circuits to where kind of just show them the progression so they can see how much better they've gotten. That's awesome. You know, the improvement that they've gotten on specific drills that we test them on. So it's definitely uplifting to them. Obviously, it's a challenge with some kids because, you know, you got to open them up. And not every kid's the same, you know. Some might take, you know, pushing a little bit more. Some, you know, if you push them at all, they're going to shut down. And you know, it's just trying to find that right trigger on each kid. So it's definitely been challenging in that way. It's worked my patience, which again, you know, it's given me an opportunity to bring my oldest out and, you know, train her, get her better, you know, as well at whatever she wants to do, whether it's soccer or she's talked about playing basketball or running track or things like that, you know what I mean? So I think it's just like a huge playground. Yeah. And I love it.
That's awesome. How important is communication with the kids? Like, make sure like they understand what you want from them, and how do they switch from like week 1 to week 12 or whatever through the process with their communication with you?
Definitely in terms of me trying to not bark at them and just like I said, finding a way to open them up to at least communicating back and forth. Because I've had this kid, I swear he did not talk to me for like maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks. Probably didn't say a word to nobody, honestly. And, you know, I tried to, you know, nudge at him a little bit at first, and I felt that wasn't working. So like, tried to, you know, push him a little more, not for that, you know what I mean? After workouts, you know, I'd sit next to him, kind of just ask questions. He was more of like a head shaker, you know what I mean? He'd smile, you know, grin, you know. You didn't get words out of him, but you got expressions. And finally, I forgot what we were doing, and he came up and talked to me, and he was just a big burly kid, you know what I mean? He's not overweight, but he's just big boned and tall, you know what I mean? He just doesn't know his body yet. And he spoke to me, and it shocked me so much that he said a word to me. I looked over my shoulder and I just smiled, and I was like, I got you, man, I got you. And ever since then, you know, it's opportunities like that, so where, you know, that kid probably never had anybody to look up to or anybody that probably gave a damn about him in a way, you know.
And you won him over because you probably showed him,
you know, just consistency, you know what I mean? And that's all it was, you know, encouraging him on things. You know, he might not have did the best, but you don't need to tell him that.
Of course.
You know, let him figure it out. You know, let him watch everybody else do it a few times, and then let him screw up, you know, let him mess up, because it's our failures that get us to be great at something, you know what I mean? If you're great already, you don't take the appreciation for it. Yeah. You know, if you're right. If you got to struggle for it and you got to work for it.
Appreciate every freaking thing you get.
Absolutely. And I used to take so much for granted, you know, when I was younger, and people used to try to preach to me those same things, and I just didn't listen, man, and I had to learn the hard way. And I find myself doing the same thing with my daughter, and she don't give a damn either.
Hey, so tell me a little bit about your leadership style. Are you like strong? Are you loving, caring, understanding? Are you like, hey, come on, guys, like this, like this, like this? Or do you got to use both of them at certain times?
I guess it comes to the audience. I mean, I'm more of a person that tries to read the room. And you're not always going to get the same reactions out of everybody.
Okay, yeah. You got to figure out who you're talking to.
Or even in the same, you know, you could be with the same group of people in different scenarios, you know what I mean? And just the way you come at it could change the whole, you know, emotion of what that scenario is. But I mean, I definitely have found myself doing all those things.
Okay, yeah.
You know, with my kids, I'm not a rah-rah person because, you know, I want them to understand, you know, and I want them to feel that I'm not super strict with them because that they can come and ask me anything, you know what I mean? Just like I said, I got a 10-year-old who's probably gonna go through puberty soon, and, you know, who knows what's running through her head, and she's my stepdaughter, but I want her to feel like, hey, you know, I can ask Kodyak anything, you know, whether it be something going on with school, something that, you know, she's upset about, whatever. But it definitely, I think being patient is definitely more to my suiting now, to where when I was younger, I was more of a rah-rah. I'd say when I played football, absolutely. Rah-rah. But with that crowd, again, with that audience, I mean, you know, it's meant for. You got to hype up the crowd. You got to hype up the huddle.
Yeah, with kids, you gotta be calmed down a little bit.
But then again, you know, I've also been when you're a part of like great teams and that. So I mean, when you already have voices, there's no need for it. So like when I went to the Goodfellas, I mean, we had leaders everywhere.
Yeah,
I didn't need to talk. I just needed to perform. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that one.
And that's kind of where I wanted to be at that point, you know, playing football. And it was an awesome ride, man. I put it this way, I never had more fun playing ball, whether it was in pads, flag football, whatever, with that group of guys. We were definitely a unit. I mean, you know Ryan and Decker, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those guys muscle bound.
Yeah, Decker, I know Decker because I used to have to try to block his ass.
I mean, trying to run at them when they're coming as a wall, and you got Joe running right off them cutting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got to play pretty much every position, you know, I could think of over my little career, I guess you can say. I used to rush. I played DB. I played some quarterback at time. But my favorite, honestly, was center. I mean, being able to be in that offense and being able to score as many points as we could.
Center was your favorite?
Dude, I loved it. I loved it.
Because you always went, and then you went out for passes and stuff, or blocked.
Okay, so when we first moved to that offense, so I played with Mud City too, 5-man as well, because they traveled. So, and with that being said, you know Fino, right? So with Fino, we found that me and him played basketball together all the time, like pickup basketball. And 5-man, it's basketball. It's literally basketball plays. And we figured out that the center quarterback exchange is literally a pick and roll. So once we figured that out, I mean, there'd be times where I'd have 8 or 9 catches in a game, you know what I mean? Even though they were like just 5-yard flings, you know what I mean? Still catches. And you know, I've always enjoyed blocking too. So me going to Northwood, if you know anything about that school, they literally run the damn ball every play.
Oh, for real?
So,
Northwood Rangers?
Yep. So in that offense, as a receiver, running back, I was blocking. You know what I mean? So I always liked blocking. So being at center, I mean, even in 8-man at times, if I had the right lineman around me and I didn't have to block the biggest motherfucker coming at me, absolutely. I like playing 8-man too,
That's
center.
cool. I never played 5-man at all.
No?
Never. I've always only played 8-man. I've never got into it because I was just like, nah, you got to be fast and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, depending on, all right, so if you got the right quarterback that knows how to use the big guys, I'd say that. But I mean, like Joe and Fino, they know how to use their big boys. And I mean, you got to be able to dance around them. You know what I mean?
I never played 5-man. Hey, so let's go. I gotta use the bathroom, so we're gonna take a little break.
Yeah.
And then when we come back, I'm gonna ask you my 3 questions that I always ask people at the end, and then I'm gonna do this new thing that I've been doing for the last couple weeks. I'm gonna do 10 rapid fire questions. All right?
Okay.
All right. Let's take a little break. All right, we're back. All right. So I always ask people a couple questions at the end. We know you work out, and we know you train people and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna ask the fitness question, but I always ask people, who are your role models?
Man, my role models.
Or throughout life, who has been some of your role models?
I mean, honestly, sports figures. We had to talk, a big Gary Vee fan. I mean, he speaks truth, man. He's very knowledgeable in terms of moving in towards new stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like he's always finding the new thing, the new fad. I'm big on collecting cards, sports cards now too. So because of that, I got a little collection now. We'll just keep the prices on the DL right now. But yeah, they're getting there.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping one day that, you know, my son Phoenix will be able to take that collection and, you know, maybe live off it one day.
Yeah, because some of those cards run for a lot of money, like Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
I mean, I ain't got,
well, I'm saying like some of those,
I mean, you get to like some limited editions or some rookie limited editions, man, you're looking at some pretty prices, especially if they were kept well, you know, put away.
Where do you find that stuff, like garage sales and stuff?
I mean, yes. My grandpa already had a little bit of a collection as well, too. I used to have a hell of a Pokemon collection.
Oh, you did?
And I lost it. It's still out there somewhere, so anyone finds a little book with, you know, a little yellow Pikachu on it. It might have a hell of amount
It's lost in the ether of life.
Oh, man, it's out there. I know it is.
This is someone's, like, attic somewhere.
I've searched my grandma's house so many times, and I still believe it's there somewhere, and either in the garage or somewhere in the attic or somewhere.
Yeah. So all your role models were sports figures. How about in football? Did you have a favorite, like wide or DB or somebody that you like? Because you play DB and wide receiver, right?
Oh yeah.
So who was your favorite, like DB wide receivers and stuff like that?
Growing up, obviously a huge Deion fan. I mean, if you didn't like Deion as a DB, I mean, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, I like Deion as a person, as a coach. Everything.
Shout out Deion. Good luck in his game against TCU this weekend.
Oh yeah. Colorado. He's a coach for Colorado.
Yeah.
Right? That's cool.
Bet on it. I bet you. Up 2 scores, I promise. But huge fan of the late Sean Taylor. I mean, I'm a big Hurricanes fan.
Okay.
So because of that, I loved Ed Reed. I loved Sean Taylor. You know, that defensive backfield was nasty at Miami. And I mean, I feel like if Sean Taylor would have played his whole career, it wouldn't even have been a question that he would have been the GOAT. You know what I mean?
That was crazy.
You ever watch any highlights?
Yeah. He was really good.
Nasty, man.
Yeah, he was
for
so
how
good.
big that dude was, he could track the ball.
Someone broke in his house and killed him, right?
Yep. You ever watched A Football Life on him?
No, I never have.
You should check it out. It's on YouTube. It's free.
Yeah, I need to check him out because I remember it all happening.
Yeah,
Like,
crazy scenario.
dope,
Yeah, someone broke in, I guess, and shot him like on his hip or something like that. It hit an artery and he bled out.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, my role models, I've always looked up to people like around me. I kind of like sports, but I never had like role models in sports. My role models were maybe like my uncles and my cousins and people around me like that.
I wish I could say that, but I don't feel like there's too many good figures or too many figures in my life, family-wise, that were a good person to follow. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe not so much in a bad way, but they were maybe small-minded to where they never really reached for anything in life. And I want to say, like, I just want to keep evolving. I just want to keep, you know,
for sure. Yeah, I'm not saying those role models were that good, but you know what I mean? That's what I looked up to.
I get what you're saying.
And then not only that, but then I was just like, now I look at everybody and I almost get inspiration from anybody at any time, good or bad. I kind of look at basically the internet, you know, because I don't have time to be at no one's house. But what people post and what people do and what people say, I kind of look at all that and I, weed out like some people might be a great father, man. And you're like, damn, what a great father. And you can get something out of that.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
yeah, of course, every single person. And then some people might be a bad this and a bad that. You're like, man, I don't like this about that guy. And then you still learn something from that relationship.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like we all learn from every single situation, so it's like
I never take anything as like a loss. It's definitely a lesson. I definitely try to make sure I live my life that way nowadays, because if you're always thinking of yourself as the victim or always losing, like
God,
that just isn't the mindset you need to be in all the time. And if you're in that mindset all the time, there ain't too much good coming out of it.
Heck no.
And I've definitely learned that over my lifetime.
So I always ask people their big dreams. That's usually how I end my podcast, but today I'm gonna do 10 rapid fire questions. But okay, you said that you train people, you've coached, you've you do this insurance thing. Do you have a LLC, right? So you have had a business and all that?
I originally started as like a power washing company. And I did that for about maybe 5 or 6 months. Had a conversation with an insurance adjuster that they were paying people to go take pictures of damaged properties or storm damaged properties. And he hooked me up with a ride along. I went on that ride along and I watched this guy within about 5 or 6 hours make a little over $1,000. And I was like, well, I'm definitely doing something wrong in life. He kind of helped get me set up, with my workman's comp, with getting an LLC and everything. And shout out to Lee Word, Hancock Claims and Consultants. Even though they're not the best inspection company, you should definitely check me out. I went along with that for about 3 or 4 years. I definitely loved the job, being able to work my own hours. Had about, me as an independent, had about 30 plus different insurance companies getting a hold of me to go take pictures for them and send them damage reports. Took some time off with that, with having my first son. Just wanted to be around a little bit more, and with me taking that time off, the hailstorm happened in Point Place. And with that being said, I am hail certified from doing those inspections in the past, and so that's my specialty. So hooked up with a company named Freedom Roofing, Windows, and Siding, which I used to install with a long time ago. They got me out as an estimator now, project estimator, so I go out and do inspections on the damage, pretty much doing what I was doing for the insurance companies. Now I'm doing for the homeowner. Which again, with that being said, those inspectors that are out inspecting for these insurance companies, me knowing personally, sometimes they aren't the best. And sometimes they just get hired out of volume in the area, and they don't get trained technically the way they should prior to them getting shipped out. So a lot of people are getting like bad insurance reports. So it's my job to take a look at those reports, and me with my insurance background, I can kind of see where they miss things, kind of grade the report like as a teacher, and correct it on linear footage, or them missing something with pictures and a summary. Send that back to the insurance company as a supplement, and usually they get, a few extra $1,000, sometimes full replacements off of it, sometimes re-inspections, but definitely more than what they were initially. And, it's no fault at really anyone at the insurance company. It's just sometimes the volume gets so high. I mean, it's to the point to where we don't necessarily want to turn anyone away, but, there's so many people, so much volume coming in to where, we just can't get to everybody in the timely fashion that they want. So that's been fun. Been doing that since June 15th. It's definitely different, definitely a fast-paced, environment, especially right now. I'm working from sun up to sundown. I'll probably go do probably about 4 or 5 estimates after I leave here before I go to bed. Wake up, have my dad life, go cut my grass, go to the dump, go drop off a dump in BG, and pretty much do some more work. You know, I don't I don't say there's a day that goes by to where I'm not doing estimates or talking to insurance companies or homeowners, getting colors, you know, for shingles, siding, all that. So it's been fun.
Yeah. So okay. So all that being said, I'm a believer that we have to, like, I know you do a lot, but like, what is, like, is there a way to like have an ultimate goal, like where you have like the business and you have a whole bunch of guys working for you and then you grow it? Can you grow that to be like to me, I like to think like big dreams. So like, what is your biggest dream with that, like business or that kind of like the stuff that you're into? Or would you like to grow at the gym? Like, what is your ultimate dream? Because I believe in speaking things into existence, bro.
You know, I feel like I've had so many different dreams.
Yeah.
To where I've lived out so many. I mean, my main dream in life used to be a coach. You know, I had a friend help me live that dream.
Yeah.
You know, I tell him all the time, thank you.
Yeah.
You know.
And you were a coach for Wade and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we had a hell of a start our first year. I mean, we were undefeated at one point.
Why not Wade? I remember
we had the whole east side, you know, bumping, you know, down at the stadium. So, I mean, it was a fun ride. You know, it's definitely something I'm going to get back into. I've had a few offers this year to go coach at a couple places. Unfortunately, I turned them down.
Yeah, no.
And, you know, it hurt me to turn down every single one. I will be a coach again
because
at
people have faith in your coaching ability, bro. That's crazy.
It's just, dude, it's just like, because I used to be a nerd in terms of just watching it.
I know, but it's hard to say no to that because someone is actually calling you and asking you to work for them. That means they have so much faith in you, bro. They have so much faith that you're gonna do a good job. They're willing to put you on their team. Damn, like it sucks to have to say no because you're so busy with your real life.
Yeah, I would say I turned down 4 different positions this summer and in the spring. And, you know, each one, I had close friends, you know, as head coaches or a close friend on the staff that we know were in my ear. And I'm sure there's going to be more next year.
I already know. I already know some of them in my head.
I might be waiting for a certain one to open up. We'll just say I would like to be close to home.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to coach all the way across the city, unfortunately. But I mean, I love seeing the city grow in terms of programs.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have a lot of friends in the city that, you know, are on coaching staffs or, you know, are helping build those
It's
programs.
so beautiful, bro. It's like a lot of the guys that play flag football with us, they're all over the whole city.
Yeah, I mean, that first weight coaching staff.
Dude, you guys killed it, bro.
We were about, you know, literally 7 or 8 flag football coaches, you know, flag football players.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, our love of the game. A lot of them were ex-weight alumni.
Yeah.
So I believe Fatty was ex-weight, Peacock.
Yeah, Justin Barrett.
Barrett, yeah. We had a hell of a staff over there, I'm going to tell you right now.
No, they're all coaches everywhere. You're the only one that's not a coach because you don't want to, basically.
Dude, and that's really what it came down to, is just me putting my family first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to decide.
My daughter had a heart issue. Well, she still does. So that's why I was originally going to come back in COVID or during COVID to weight, actually. And it didn't work out because I didn't want to be in a scenario where she would potentially get sick. But yeah, it's definitely been talked about. I'm sure my wife, my fiance, isn't going to be too happy when that happens because you got to be all in, you know what I mean? To do it well, to be able to get things across to the kids the way you want it to be involved with them, for them to trust you. I still have a lot of relationships with a lot of the kids that I coached. I mean, when I coached at Wait, I was the freshman head coach, you know, I was the JV defensive coordinator, I was the DB head, or the DB coach for the varsity, you know what I mean? So I literally lived every single day weight football, you know, for 2.5 years. And then on top of that, I was the equipment manager as well too. So I mean, I made sure that the jerseys were taken care of, the helmets were stickered up.
Damn, so you had a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I enjoyed it. I really did, you know, and like I said, you got to be all in, you know. And if you're not, those kids ain't gonna trust you.
Of course,
you know what I mean.
And you know that you can't put all that effort in right now because with the things you're doing with your family, your business, the training, like. You can never say yeah and then not be able to put the time in. Then you're gonna cheat them kids. You're gonna cheat yourself, your family, everybody.
And that's kind of how I explained it to the people that offer me to come on and on staff. And I wouldn't be able to give that full effort how I want, and that's a disservice to the kids, especially especially if they want to get better. You know what I mean? Because I can't give them everything they need. And when I was that weight, unfortunately, I was in a position to where I was offered a position to work for TPS2 as the equipment manager. So I was able to make some money while I was doing all that. And on top of that, I was offered a coaching position as well too. So that on top of working at FedEx, overnight, it was able to make do, plus having my fiance work, we were able to make things happen. Unfortunately, while she was pregnant, it was, I had to work all the time. So, I made that sacrifice to where, I couldn't have that because that was more of a hobby to me and something that I love. And, when you love something, you're going to give your all to it.
Of course.
And she knows that too. And she makes a joke that's, I love that more over her, but it's not true. Maybe it was before, but it's not.
Now, tell me about your fiance. Like, how long have you been with her for?
Since the night of DUI, so that's about 7 years.
What's her name?
Destiny Rodriguez first, but we'll be Destiny Morris, hopefully by next year.
Okay, you guys are getting married soon?
Yes, we got engaged last year.
Okay. And ever since that night, you guys been like, what, dating?
Yeah, we dated for a little bit. She was we were distant at first because with her having a kid already, she just wanted to make sure that, I was going to be around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which her daughter is my daughter, you get what I'm saying? Like anything she needs, I'm there for her. The loss of my daughter back in 2014, she would be about the same age as her. I mean, she helped me grow as a father before I even became a father. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's kind of helped shape me from Aaliyah and Phoenix to where, I'm in debt to her for that, and she's going to get everything I got. Just as much as I give to the other two.
Of course, you have to, bro.
So, and I knew that, going into it with Destiny, that, I wasn't just taking Destiny, I was taking her and her daughter, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I mean, we've made quite a life together, and I wouldn't change anything, how everything's turned out. And we are definitely quite a pair. She's my yin and I'm her yang, and we're total opposites in a lot of ways, but it works for us, you know what I mean? And what I slack on, she picks up, and vice versa.
That's awesome. Yep, that's how you gotta be.
Yeah, and I mean, I really haven't had a relationship, whether it's with a girl, family member, whatever, to where we have that bond together and that agreement together, you know what I mean? So where it's so genuine together. So
do you think that's a big reason why you've actually fixed up your life ever since you met, like the DUI, meeting her, all that, and then like her helping you, you know what I mean? Because it's like a mutual type deal thing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, and that comes back with the support system. I mean, I would consider her my best friend, and because of her being able to, because I mean, I've been with many girls in the past, and during those relationships, I was always going through shit, and whether it be losses of family members, dealing with, the drugs issue, drinking, whatever, she's always been patient with me, and she's always made sure I was cool, but gave me my space as well to let me figure it out.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And not necessarily bagged on me for making the wrong decision or making a mistake. Because I mean, we're only human beings, you know? I mean, we're not gonna do everything right. We learn from the shit that we do wrong.
That's cool. That's awesome that she supports you so you can do like your alone things. Like me, like I got a podcast. I told my wife I want to do a podcast. And, not everyone supports me anyways, but like she supports the shit out of me. She's all about it. She's like, go, you know. I told her like, babe, I gotta put this money away for this podcast so I can get this office. She's like, go ahead, let's do it, let's do it. My mom's another person because I have a business with my mom, you know. I have a cleaning business with my mom. So I told my mom, like, this is my dream. I want to have a podcast so I can talk to people. I feel it's like a little therapeutic just to sit down with somebody and talk and conversate. Especially after all that pandemic shit that just went on.
Yeah, crazy
a lot of
time.
people got like divided and shit, man. So I kind of want to bring the community back together, have a space where somebody can come once a week and just have a conversation and have a good time, man, you know?
I mean, with COVID, I mean, people definitely lost contact with a lot of people.
Yeah.
People definitely act different now. We can say that.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna have a hell of a generation of kids that grow up to be some crazy people. I'm gonna tell you that one too. They're already starting off pretty nuts.
Yeah. Whole bunch of crazy stuff.
Well,
man.
because I hate saying it like this, but people just don't want to work nowadays, man. They had that time where they just got to chill and they just got to turn off that switch for a little bit and didn't have to worry about nothing, and they got used to it. Unfortunately, I didn't, because when I did the inspections, well, I'm an individual person that doesn't have to interact with anyone else. So my work never stopped during that whole thing. So I was just wishing, like, yes, please give me COVID. And it never happened.
You never got nothing?
No, I didn't get COVID till this year.
Oh, yeah.
Probably about, I want to say like 5 or 6 months ago. And I'm like, come on now. Like, I don't even think I was working at the time.
Yeah, I didn't even get, I don't think I've ever gotten it.
No?
My wife got it one time.
Do you think it was a hoax?
No, I don't. I mean, I always told everybody that it's a mental thing, like, but I believed in it, you know what I mean? I still wear the mask, all that shit, you know what I mean?
Man, the mask really.
But I would always try to like just trick myself into thinking, because I had, like you said, I had to go clean houses. People were like demanding more cleaning.
Ooh, you better demand more, didn't you?
Yeah, so I was like, I was still cleaning people's houses, but you know, masked up, gloved up. But I still went into some, like that first 2 weeks, we didn't do nothing. But after that, people said, hey man, you know, the toilets are getting dirty.
I mean, honestly, when COVID happened, that's when things really kicked off for me doing inspections, because all the insurance adjusters went home, and then they depended on guys like me to go out and do their work. I mean, I made a good amount, you know, doing that. So what I'm doing now, I have salary. I have a company truck. I kind of got all the benefits I need. So I kind of just took that step back to just have some long-term peace of mind. So it's nice to have that, because when you're, I mean, obviously as your own entity, you know, you're paying all your overhead. I mean, if you need insurance, you're paying for that all out of pocket.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You know, it's so much more to take care of your own stuff.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I don't have to worry about that right now, as I kind of want to be home and be a father more, and you know, that's not going to last forever, because those kids are going to get older and they're going to go to school, to where obviously we're going to have more time to kind of be able to be away for the day and you know, work more. I try to work when they're sleeping as much as I can, so I can be home more and just.
Yeah, because your life is going to evolve. As they get older, your life's going to get older. There's going to be one day, like my kids are adults, and I don't ever like see my kids, man.
Yeah.
I miss them, dude.
Right
like
now,
crazy.
they depend on us, you know.
I miss them like crazy, but I don't even call them because I'm so damn busy. Like, even like sometimes I'm like,
you're that old, huh?
Like how
old are you now?
I want to be with my kids all the time. I'm 43.
43.
My daughter's 21 and my son's 18, and I don't even like. I see them here and there when I see them and stuff, but I don't know, man. It's just like a.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, they start their own lives, and they kind of just. I don't see my parents as much. I try to make my mom.
Like on holidays, we get together and everything, like. But it's like I miss them all the time, and then like,
I feel like we're kind of losing that in our family a little bit.
The holiday thing.
Yeah, we just don't see each other as much on the holidays. Like I'll see my mom for sure, but like our cousins and our aunts and uncles like that, we just don't get together like we used to anymore.
Yeah, people are losing that, bro.
You know, you just don't have that family environment anymore like you used to. Like everybody used to. Everybody.
It seems like once the grandpas and grandmas die, like it seems like the families start falling apart.
Yeah.
And they start dividing to like their own little groups.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is kind of like that. You know, like I've been telling my fiance, I was like, you know, I wouldn't even mind going to travel on like Christmas or Thanksgiving. You know, that's when we should go on vacation. I mean, I'd rather spend that money and enjoy that moment with the kids. You know what I mean? To where we're doing something fun instead of, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say. Because it's not miserable to hang out with the family, you know, at like Christmas events or anything like that. But it gets stale at times, you know what I mean? So hey man, let's go to Disney World.
That would be fun. Hell yeah, that sounds cool, man. That sounds like something that I would want to do.
Or let's go to Kalahari for Christmas. Oh you know, hang out there for a little bit.
I did that with my kids when we were younger. Like I was always like on the move. And one Christmas, I took them to remember Holiday in French Quarters.
Yeah,
So I took them there and I rented the room for like one night. I took all their presents in there because I was like single and like I was just like a single dad.
Because they didn't have sweet theme parks back then.
I mean, they probably, I was just,
Not water parks, not like now.
This was a long time ago too. My kids were little. So, and then we went there and I did.
R.I.P. French Quarter.
I got their presents and then we went swimming at the swimming pool. We played putt-putt and then the next day we ate and I took them home. Yeah. It was fun, bro.
We actually just went to Kalahari not that long ago. We got the little cabana that looks over the wave pool. It was pretty nice. I like that.
I haven't been there since like 4 years.
That was probably the most bougie I've ever been in my life. Was just buying one of those. Man, I'm a cheapskate. You know, I try to save as much as I can. You know, I mean, growing up poor, you know, you're not trying to lose that. You know,
of course.
And I mean, there's been so many times in my life to where I've hit rock bottom and just I've turned a good amount of money into zero. And I feel like I can't do that again.
So you've learned. It's just like you bump your head and you learn through life. Like I can't do that again. Because what's insanity? What's the definition of insanity? You know, doing the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
So if you know that shit didn't work and that shit didn't work, you got to be crazy to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying?
And I wouldn't put it past me about being crazy. Put it that way.
All right. So okay. So I'm gonna ask you 10 rapid fire questions. I've been doing this like the last couple weeks, and I want to keep it going because you get to kind of know a little bit about the guest. You know what I mean? So, okay, 10 questions. Are you a morning workout person or afternoon?
Honestly, I'd rather do it in the morning. I feel like it kind of gets your blood flowing, you know what I mean? Wakes you up. Yes, you'll be sore through the day. But, I feel like sometimes your morning starts so slow to where if you get a little workout, whether even if it's like 15, 20 minutes of, you know, running or doing something, you know, stretching. It kind of just gets that mind moving.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
I want to be into getting a little, the little trash can looking thing, the ice plunges.
Oh, the ice bucket thing.
Man.
No, the ice plunge,
Yeah, and just sitting in that for like 5 minutes, you know what I mean? I've always wanted to get a sauna in my house too, so we'll see about all that.
Well, I do that in my gym. I do a sauna.
And
then
where you go?
The old LA Fitness, Esporia or whatever.
I used to go to Crunch just for the sauna.
Oh yeah. They got a steam room, so I do the steam room. Then I go take a shower, and then I jump in the pool and I do all that every morning. All right. So, what's your favorite college football team?
College football team is going to be the Hurricanes, Miami Hurricanes. You know what I mean? The Convicts. I don't think you can get a better team than that 2000, 2001 Hurricanes.
They all went to the NFL.
Man, there are a lot
of backups.
The Hall of Fame. How many we got in there now? I'd say like 6 or 7 by now.
They're in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Every single one of them went to NFL. Then some even like 6 or 7 made it to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I would say Frank Gore's about to be in there.
Wasn't Ray Lewis in that team or no?
He was like 95, 96. Him and Warren Sapp were together.
Okay. All right, so your favorite restaurant here in Toledo?
Favorite restaurant here in Toledo?
Yeah.
I mean...
Do you ever go out to eat?
Blue Pacific, I'd have to go.
What is it?
Blue Pacific.
Blue Pacific.
At Levis Commons.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Mongolian barbecue.
Oh, okay.
I've been going there since my sophomore year in high school.
I gotta check that out.
Dude, no, it's good. I mean,
do they make it all like on the thing?
yep,
like
they
that?
chop it all up in front of you and then put it on rice or noodles.
Yeah.
You can either have it in a bowl or forgot what else.
Yeah, I like.
You'll
I
like
like
it, though.
I like places like that when they cook it all right there. All right, so what's your favorite song?
Favorite song? Ugh.
Or your favorite artist or whatever? Like, what kind of music do you like, anyways?
I like all genres, honestly. Besides country.
Oh, okay.
I am not a country enthusiast.
You don't even like Jelly Roll?
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll does.
I like Jelly Roll back when Jelly Roll used to rap about some good shit. No,
Oh, okay. Now he's like more like marketing. Like
no,
he's more
man. He's into Jesus now.
Oh, okay.
But no, I like some of his stuff. But yeah, I've known Jelly Roll since high school. And
oh, for real?
yeah,
You've known him?
Well, not known him, but like of his music.
Oh, okay. No, but some people know him like because they used to like be around the scene. Like,
No, I don't know him like that, but
he used to rap, huh?
I was huge into going to concerts when I was like between the ages of 17 and 21. And I seen a lot of the bigger artists now in these local clubs. Like Wiz Khalifa used to perform at Gators. He used to actually go to UT.
Sure.
I seen Big Sean at Gators before he wasn't shit. Always a huge Mac Miller fan. I mean, he would probably be one of my favorite artists till the day I die. But I like a lot of like alternative rock. I listen to metal. I like it all, man. I listen to classical stuff too. Some Frank Sinatra.
Just not country.
It's not country, man. I don't like the twang.
But you look like you look like you could you could pass for a country boy too. I mean, you could though.
It's all the flannel shirt. That's all it is.
No, okay. So, what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Actions speak louder than words.
Oh yeah, that's about that action. What's his name? He's on my podcast too.
B.A.'s?
Yeah, Hayes.
And I only say that because it used to get preached to me a lot when I was younger, and I didn't necessarily understand the meaning until I was older. And it ain't wrong.
It ain't wrong. That's
you know what I mean? You can say whatever the hell you want, but unless you're showing me, it don't mean nothing.
It doesn't mean shit. My words don't mean nothing. Let's see it. Let's show some action, boy.
Yep.
Yeah, I made a whole podcast about that. Actions speak louder than the words.
Absolutely.
It's like a 15-minute episode talking all about that.
That's actually, that's the last post my brother ever posted on Facebook.
For real?
Yep.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yep. Crazy, ain't it?
Damn. Wow, I knew that.
Yep. So I definitely.
That's important advice. Then he gave you that advice. He left you that advice.
Yeah, definitely feel energies from him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, brother. Because things happen, bro. But things happen like if it fucking happened, it happened. But you gotta try to get as best message out of it as possible.
Yeah, I mean,
because damn, we cannot go back now. It's like fuck.
I mean, and that's why I'm huge on coaching. Our training. Just being back with the youth, because again, like we talked about, leading them down the wrong direction. I want to be able to divert that direction now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I want to be able to throw it back on track.
You got to look at something. You got to take whatever you can get positive out of that and fucking give it to these kids, man. And hopefully they don't have to go through the same.
Because we went through that shit for a reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have that knowledge, we have those experiences, and we are more wise to it because of it. And for us not to be able to push that off on the younger generation, we're only doing them a disservice because they don't have that guidance. And the guidance they do have on whether it's social media, YouTube, whatever, they have every access to anything they want, and their choices on things that they want to see, I mean, probably aren't the best, you know what I mean?
Who knows?
We weren't looking at the right stuff, I'll tell you that, you know what I mean? And it, like I said, it took us hitting all those bad bumps to get better.
Absolutely, I know. The life is like a road, and you got to hit a whole bunch of bumps so you can learn and
Pick a different road.
Yeah, goddamn. All right, so your dream vacation.
Honestly, I would love to go to Greece. I'm big on history. I love the story of the Greek times. Pretty much anywhere in Europe. I mean, I would just love to go across the Atlantic, just check out everything over there.
What's your bloodline like? Where like what country?
So
like,
my grandparents are from Mexico, which that's my mom's family. And then my dad's side of the family is Irish and a little bit of German as well too, but majority Irish, so Irish and Mexican.
All right, cool.
So a leprechaun mariachi band.
That's funny.
Someone told me I should get a tattoo of that one time.
Okay, huh?
Someone told me I should get a tattoo of that.
Of Mexican? Oh, what is it?
Of Mexican mariachi band of leprechauns.
That's funny. You should. That would be funny. Or at least get it like a drawing painted of it.
That would be dope though. Like put it in my office up top.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, so your favorite thing to do to relax and unwind, like after a hard day work or maybe a stressful day?
Honestly, man.
You play video games?
I'm about to say, I don't get as much time as I used to anymore, but I mean, that would honestly be my go-to if I had some time. Just put my headphones on, you know, just zone out for a good hour or two and just get away from whatever it is that's going on at the time. And I've always been a gamer. But I mean, I also look to, you know, working out sometimes too, as well too, to just relieve some stress.
Yeah, working out.
Just don't even get that time, but I would prefer to do that in the morning, I guess as we were saying.
Absolutely. All right, so favorite, like your favorite motto or your favorite mantra, like you use to motivate people or anything like that. Do you have anything that you tell the kids, like, you know, like I don't know.
Hurry up and buy. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I've been doing this. Let's go. And
I mean,
that's like my little thing that I don't know what. One day I just started saying let's go, and now it's like my thing now.
I'm big on just trying to get them not to give up on themselves. I mean, if you give up, you're not getting any production out of anything. Like I tell a lot of the kids, yeah, you might not be able to do that weight, so let's do it without weight. And they kind of just, you know, are discouraged because they see everybody else doing all this weight, but hey, it's about the rep, man, and it's about repetition in life too. I mean, you might not necessarily be good at something at first, but I mean, you keep doing it, you're going to sharpen your skills, and you're going to be able to carve yourself out to be a hell of whatever it is you're into. So definitely just, you know, not giving up is a big motto for me. You know what I mean?
So you like you communicate with them to not give up, make sure that, you know what I mean, you reinforce some good communication.
I mean, that goes for anybody in life, you know what I mean? When you pack it up, you're stuck at that spot and you can only go down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Once you give up, it's just start.
You know, you get comfortable, you start going down after that. So I just, that's the way I try to live too, man. Just keep pushing, keep it pushing.
All right, so I was gonna ask your favorite movie. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie, man, all-time favorite movie.
You like movies?
Man, I love movies.
Oh,
I
dude.
mean, I'm a big gangster movie guy.
Oh,
I mean, it's hard not to go with like Goodfellas, Casino. If we're going comedy, I'm a big Step Brothers fan.
Oh yeah, that's so funny, Step Brothers.
What is it? Superbad, fucking classic. I like them all. Westerns, I like 310 to Yuma.
Never seen that.
No? Like them all, man. I'd pretty much, on any given night, Friday night, weekend, would love to just scroll through whatever app there is and either find a new movie or old movie. But really been watching a lot of Disney recently with the kids. Huge on Trolls right now. Trolls and Frozen 2. So that's about the only thing that gets played in my house at the moment.
Okay, so you don't have an ultimate favorite movie that someone said, like, you were like, man, that's like that. Like, you know how some people say Scarface? I love Scarface.
I like Scarface, but man, all-time favorite. I know you're gonna laugh, but you probably don't even know what it is. Biodome?
No, I don't know.
Oh man, it's a Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin.
Biodome? Were they like in this big thing?
Yeah, and they get locked in there and they throw
yeah.
the big old party in there.
Yeah, I see.
I don't know why, but I've always loved that movie and I will watch it anytime it's on.
I know what movie you're talking about.
I don't know why, but I grew up loving Pauly Shore, whether it was like Son-in-Law, fucking that.
Well, his
in
mom,
the Army now.
his mom was like she ran them comedy clubs.
I didn't know that. I seen that on because I watch Joe Rogan all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
And I said, what? So he like grew up in all that?
He grew up in all that.
And I was like, that makes sense why he is the way he is.
Yeah, his mom was like the lady for the comedy. Forgot her name, whatever her name was. All right, so I'm gonna ask this question: if you could have dinner with any historical figure in the whole world, living or dead, who would it be, and why would you want to have a conversation with that person?
Historical figure.
Yeah, like some kind of like, I don't know, who knows, president, somebody that I don't know.
Man, that's a hard one because
a historical figure is like I don't know, Michael Jordan.
No.
It could be someone else. That's history.
I'd want to go back to like Aztec days. I'd want to find out like when they let fucking what is it, Cortez? When they decided to let him over that bridge and they came over and attacked the Aztecs.
Yeah, so
I want to know who made that decision.
So you would want to sit down with him and then talk to him?
I want to be a part of that conversation. Like, why are we letting these guys across? Because they have a lot of weapons. They have horses. It's not a good idea. I mean, you know that story, right?
I don't know the story.
No? Okay.
They killed everybody or
Dude,
something?
yes. So Mexicans are all bastard children. You make no offense. We are. So the Spaniards came over here on boats, right, to South America. You'll have to watch it. John Leguizamo made a documentary on it. And they pretty much killed off all the Aztec men and then raped all the females and made the Mexican race. So that's how Mexico became what it is.
But I'm pretty sure it happened in Cuba too, because Spain took over.
Yeah.
Spain, when they took over South America, they took away all Cuba, all that stuff, all that.
So that's how there was a mixture, and yes, all of South America is pretty much all bastard children, made from Spanish.
So that's why when I do my DNA test, it says that I'm Spaniard too. Like we're all got that.
Dude, my great grandma was probably as pale as one of the whitest people out here. You know what I mean? And that's where we get our pale complexity from. So when I tell people I'm Mexican, they kind of just laugh.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were Mexican till today.
Yep.
I never knew that. So your mom's Mexican, your dad's white. Yeah. Irish.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I get. If you look at my son right now, he has red hair. So I'm sure that'll go away sooner or later, but who knows?
So that's why you want to talk. You would want to talk to him, and you would want to know why would they even?
I mean, that was a crazy time in time in history, I guess you can say. To where that changed the complexity.
Everything switched.
You know what I mean? Because Spain got rich off of that, and then that created slave trade routes. You know what I mean? So if you want to talk about African Americans, that they created the slave trade off that route to come to South America.
That's how it all started.
Yeah, so if the Aztecs would have just took them out, maybe we could have prevented slaves. Maybe we could have prevented, we might not be here though.
Yeah, all that, and then you wouldn't have this we wouldn't be able to see her.
So I guess we can say thank you to the Spaniards for doing that.
Yeah, never mind. You guys can have it back.
I apologize for that rant.
Hey, Kodyak, man, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much
hanging out with you, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much, and thank you, and we'll have you back anytime you want to bring anything else up, or just...
We'll have to have you out at Redline sometime, maybe do one there, maybe with me and Brian and Garrett,
Yeah, because I work out every morning, but the same time you guys do. Maybe one day I can go there and just chill and do some videos and...
Absolutely. Give them a talk. We'll talk,
yeah,
give you
for
something.
Sure. All right, so we'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching Big Yogi'Z Garage. Hopefully you guys stayed all the way to the end. But make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment. Thank you very much. Let's go.